We will have now the topic on portfolio building, which is now going to be represented by Ansis Spridzans, who is our LatBAN's chairman. He's been in the startup field now, I think, for the last, I don't know, almost 7, 8 to 10 years, something like that. Yeah. And he's the man behind of setting all the syndicate investments for LatBAN. But yeah, you can introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, that's it about me. Actually, Emil's told already most of it. I am in LatBAN for a very long time and quite some time also on the board, but it happens so that I am also chairman right now. And last few years we are dealing with syndicates. Since beginning of last year, 24, we are doing it very actively. Before that there were attempts, but due to certain reasons they were not successful, or at least not extremely successful. We believe that it will be much better right now. So what I will speak about when to decide whether you want to be an angel, how much money to allocate to that, because you should be ready when you start that not all deals will be successful, as Egita correctly mentioned, but also you should not be crazy pessimistic, because even the deals which don't come as unicorns can still deliver some returns. So it is not exactly like people usually listen to, okay, that one deal out of 10 is successful. It is not like that. These which are like less than unicorn, they also can deliver some return. So when in your portfolio you should consider startups. It is, you probably have certain savings and some portfolio of assets which you own. Depending on your personality, you may choose more risky or less risky of these, but the core categories which are usually considered to be included in the portfolio are here. So these are equities, some fixed income instruments, some cash, which you should, some very liquid asset or cash or money market, and real estate, which is very popular. But of course, there is a place also for startup investments and such investments which are very high risk, relatively very high risk. But you have to have it in reasonable amounts. So you should not put all your savings, all your money on that asset class. So we believe that the range which should be represented by startups or similar high-risk instruments should be between 10 and 25%. 25% is whole group, so startups probably is part of it. How much money do I need in general for doing that type of investments? So we believe that to do startup investment reasonably, you have to be ready to invest in more than one deal. So you have to think whether I will be able to diversify reasonably between a number of deals, not to feel very badly about one lost deal, even in this context of the whole portfolio. So in case if you allocate, for example, 10% to startup investments from your whole personal wealth, will later invest these 10% alongside maybe 10 startups, then it will at the end mean that it should be like 1% of your whole wealth which you invest in one particular startup. So it is pretty low percentage, which even if you lose, you will not lose everything. So it is like when you will earn a lot on that, then you will be very happy about, but if you lose, you will not lose everything. About deployment, you should not consider making a startup portfolio as a maybe equity portfolio, which you can go to stock exchange or some banker and build very fast because the market is there, maybe the opportunity is there, so you buy 10 stocks at the same day. Startup situation is different because these 10 good opportunities will not come at the same day, and you have to do it slowly during time and listen to such training courses to know how to do it properly and learn in the meantime, of course. Here I also added some examples similar to what I mentioned, that you can start with very small tickets or relatively small tickets of, for example, 5K, with a goal to distribute these investments alongside, for example, 20 investments. Just do consecutive investments of very small tickets, but for a longer time period. So it will result in larger portfolio of diversified investments in startups. And some of them will be successful, definitely. What you should do first when you review all this stuff and find out that actually you are interested, you think that startup investment is something you should try. This is very interesting area of business, and somehow fits also your expertise, so you believe that you can pick the right one or earn more than lose. So first to do, I think, yeah, you have to decide what will be the thesis, how you will define which startups to choose for investment. So you have to think whether you are in a network which will allow you to find very early stage startups, or you have necessary connections to jump in later. And usually if you want to jump in later, the tickets will be larger. So if you come at the very early stage, like pre-seed, startups will be happy to take your 5,000 as well, even if you come alone. But at later stage, it will not be like that, because Egita will come in and put a check of 500, and so they will say, okay, we don't need your 5,000, so go away. But at the pre-seed level, at very early stage, they will happy to take even that. You also have to think about the businesses where you are good and where you can do your conclusions whether the particular investment is worth doing that. For example, one of our members is very good in medicine. He knows that business very well, and so he regularly comes to me, comes up with interesting new ideas. He himself screens the market. He knows what is in the medicine business going on around, maybe in the Baltic market. And he is thinking about investing in one of these startups, but he knows that he cannot take the whole ticket, the startup ones. So he comes up and asks whether we are interested to do a syndicate for that round, or how do we look at that startup. So it is a very good initiative, and this gives also some impulse for us to look at the particular opportunity, and if that opportunity fits interests of some other members as well, so we can create a syndicate and really invest this ticket there. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to say regarding that. Of course, geography, you have to choose the area, and I personally think that very important aspect in choosing early stage startup is whether you will be able to reach out to them personally and whether they will respond. because if you will invest in some startup in Bulgaria, for example, they may be good guys, but they will not look at you as somebody maybe who can it's worth replying even if you have such small tickets. But if you have even small ticket, but the founder lives in Riga next to you, so he will reply anyway and give you information and updates how he's doing. Here are a few examples of investment theses which we thought about, and yeah, you may look at them and use them as examples. We have defined also our own investment thesis for LatBAN syndicates, and what we have decided is that we have, as a LatBAN, as a group of angels, focus on very early stage at pre-seed and seed level only, and the startups we invest should be from the Baltic states, or at least have some connection to the Baltic states. One of the founders at least should be from the Baltic states, even if the startup is now in the United States or maybe some other reason, which would again give us this personal touch and ability to reconnect with the startup at later stages and maybe jump in with some other ticket maybe later, do some follow-up investment, even when the large tickets will be there. And what we also know is that LatBAN angels are not billionaires, so we cannot take very big tickets. Not only that, but also we need that money to return faster than within, for example, 10 years. So we have defined that the minimum what we focus on is that this startup should return at least 3x in 3 years. So this is like the market threshold we should not go below, because startups come with high valuations, and if we think that the valuation even for a good startup is that high that within 3 years we don't think that he will able to triple that valuation, then we don't invest in it. And 3 years is some target. We expect also some possibility at least of some exit for us. It doesn't mean that the startup will exit or will be purchased as a result of M&A transaction after 3 years, but we want an opportunity arising within 3 years where we can sell it maybe to the next round investors or some external investor who will be willing to jump in alongside bigger funds, and who will think that this could be good opportunity for him. For example, some family office who has larger resources, but he does not have the connections to jump in the particular round in Series B, for example. But we will be able to offer our small share in that startup and exit that investment, because our syndicates are not very big, and this is a valid way how to do that. At least we think so, and we believe that there will be some such examples in relatively near time. And what we also believe is our strengths is that business angels here come from various industries, and it is pretty easy for us to find experts in various fields. And we as a community are focused in large sense on cooperation between ourselves. As I mentioned, this example of expert doctor, he believes that he cannot take the whole ticket, but we respect his experience and knowledge in this particular field. So we can be safer to follow his recommendation and apply our other knowledge we have within the team, for example, legal and due diligence, to make the investment better and better quality, because we have that. But of course, we do our own due diligence at all times as well. Even with relatively small resources we have, we try to do it well. How many startups should I hold? I think the answer is that 10 is the minimum, but of course you will not be able to build that portfolio of 10 startups within just a few days. So it will take some time. So there will be time period when you are holding less than that. That probably is the target you have to achieve within that strategic period when you have decided to invest in startups in general. As I mentioned, one of the problems is that startups are not available, like stocks in stock exchange, so it's not that easy. And yes, what you can do is you can join LatBAN, for example, LatBAN, SBAN, or such type of organizations which provide some deal flow where you see that there are startups doing presentations, there are maybe some syndicates being formed, there are syndicates being formed in LatBAN, there are syndicates being formed in SBAN and LatBAN, there are syndicates being formed as a result of TechChill and bigger startup competitions. So there are opportunities around, but of course you need time, not only money, to follow all these opportunities and to decide which investment is proper for you. And what I face quite often is that the approach is that I invest this small check and forget the investment and believe that in some 10 years time there will be huge IPO and I will be like a Skype investor early. It is absolutely not true. At least I don't believe in such miracles. And I believe that what we can do as an early investors is that we follow the startup, follow their journey in this early stage, and help them not only with some good consultations and wise words, but also in practice, that when we see that there is a financial need, that we can jump in between rounds, we can give some venture loan, venture debt, on maybe favorable terms, because we know that this is type of bridge loan for this purpose. We can help startup to participate in grants, because it's not that rare when a state is giving grant 100%, but they ask for upfront payment for that grant. So the company needs to invest upfront, and then after that only they get the money back from the state. So they need that money, but no bank will give them that money at that point. So they can rely on us that if we can, we will do that. And startups see this as an added value from us as business angels as well, because we are very flexible. We look at the best deal, so if they come and say that the deal is there, we are ready to offer you something in exchange for that, then we are ready to take the deal. And there are no like procedures or some strict regulations which prohibit to do that. We just need to have our internal decision, and if we believe that the deal is good, then we can go forward with that.
I have a question. Do you have a statistic of LatBAN? How many startups gave you X3, and how many startups become zero? Do you have statistic available about LatBAN conference?
We don't have such a general statistic over the years. we have statistic on total amount invested each year, members of which was invested by members of LatBAN, but unfortunately not that detailed.
Not to add to that, not every member is quite open about their private investments as well. It's something that we have been, I would say, battling over the years, that not everyone wants to disclose everything. And this is, let's say, a transparency thing that we're trying to, let's say, improve in the organization or in the space in general.
Yeah, because failures are not something people want to
talk about.
Especially if they have invested really big money there. So, and they are known people in society, so they don't want to tell that they failed.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you have syndicated loans, this was syndicated investment.
Yes.
Or syndicated investment, believe you following the statistics?
Yes, I will have it later. But as I said, we actively do our own syndicates only for 2 years. So the numbers are there, you will see them, but they don't show really a lot at this point. After 3 more years, I think we will be able to judge how good we were statistically comparing to the market. We believe that we are excellent.
Maybe early question, but for let's say people who, okay, for me, who came outside, who has no experience with the startups, as such, especially in the tech business, do you think it's safer to be, of course, in the syndicate with the other people who has the expertise?
Yes, of course, that is the way where you can, the way of diversifying, but diversifying relatively cleverly, because you have people from other industries. And as I wrote in our thesis, that we believe in this group knowledge, that we are generally intelligent people here, and we have different experiences and backgrounds. So this group decision making has has value of its own. That when we look at some pitch, we don't have scorecards as fund has, but we have bigger group with more diverse experiences. Emils is young, so he can have like some TikTok knowledge. Some others are maybe different experience, some more failures. So all of this comes together, and then maybe the decision is good. But as I said, the real statistics we will see in some 3 years. Okay, how to diversify? There are some key aspects you should consider. I think I already spoke about most of them. Also, I think I spoke about these, that you have to, how you can primarily source the deal flow. You can go to TechChill. There are quite a lot of various startup events. We organize ourselves pitching sessions here. We participate actively in the other events which are going on in Lithuania, Estonia. We were participating as LatBAN in Latitude. We were like providing syndicate to one of Latitude winners. We were providing syndicate also to one of TechChill winners. We will have pitching for, I think, Lithuanian startups in a few next sessions, which we, at least some of them, found out in Startup Day in Lithuania just last week. So we try to source this deal flow and hopefully have it good quality.
Historically, what has been your ticket size?
Actually, the range is pretty big. We have invested as low as 60,000. And there were several such situations where startup came to us and said that, okay, we have a fund which is investing us, but they are investing 200K ticket, and we need additional 30,000. So we are providing this additional ticket, and all parties are happy about that. Fund is happy, we are happy to have a good opportunity, and startup is happy to have us on board. But the highest also we have gone up to even $500,000. Yeah, so in several rounds. So the range is pretty big. But it also depends on the impression the startups gives to us, because in some cases it is very hard to gather the interest, even when it later appears to be one of the most fantastic opportunities. At least now it seems so. But in other cases it may be different. Okay, I think Egita already told everything about that. And yeah, and you have to follow up the startup after the investment carefully. I think that was said also. I can mention an example which was not given, that here is like compared to the previous example of your potential portfolio of giving 5,000 tickets for 20 startups, you can end up with that type of return at the very end. So that can be a situation at the end. Now the slide about current LatBAN syndicates. As I said, we have started to do this actively at the beginning of last year. So we have invested. Now we are doing like 10th syndicate, and there are, in fact, most of them are successful at this point, but this is only 2 years, so we cannot judge reasonably about that. So there are 2 second rounds which are excellent, especially for Tornated, because we invested in Tornated in January, and in July they raised next round with 7.2. So if we calculate IRR, it's huge. But let's see how it goes for them next. And there are some upcoming rounds for some of the startups, and we will see how they will end up in these rounds. I hope that's good. And as you see, the valuations are also, we focus of course on lower valuations, but we went with 10 million as well in one case, because we believe that this could be good opportunity. So I can leave it on.
Round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you.